Blue Jackets dropped their third game in a row against the Boston Bruins. Kind of what I expected, but we're going to talk a little bit about that game, and we're going to look ahead to tonight's game versus the Dallas Stars on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, trials, tribulations, all of the above and more about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We're also over on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed over there yet, then please feel free to do so. It helps me out. It helps you out. Everybody wins. But let's talk about the Blue Jackets. This is, after all, a Blue Jackets podcast, so we should talk about them. The Blue Jackets did not play badly in this game. It was a case of they were in it until like the last period, maybe the last like half of the second period. It was 2-1 until like 8.5 minutes left, give or take. David Pastrnak opened the scoring on the power play, obviously. That's David Pasternak's 20th goal of the season. He's going to make a lot of money this offseason, which is going to be fun for people that aren't Bruins fans, I think. Power play goal. The penalty kill continues to struggle. It's been getting better, and now it appears to have dropped off a cliff again. Luckily, Boone scores a power play goal of his own to make it 1-1 from Gaudreau and Laine. Gaudreau, again, having a real good night. He's up to 33 points on the season after 2 assists in this weekend's game. David Krejci adds another power play goal with a couple of minutes left in the second period. Again, just power play goals, man. They're killing us. It's not great, but if you're going to do crime, then you're going to get scored on. Like the Blue Jackets, the penalty kill just isn't good enough right now, which is kind of what I expected. Zach Werenski logs a lot of power play minutes. Nick Blankenburg was doing some penalty kill, Zach Werenski kills a lot of penalties. Bokus and Blankenburg, I believe, not on the penalty kill. Jake Bean was on the penalty kill. So, there's 2 of your big penalty killers on the defense. And I don't know, the penalty kill has been doing some weird things in terms of what they do with their forwards. Boone got 6 seconds of penalty kill time last night. I don't know what was going on there. I assume that they took a penalty and then it immediately got scored on, but still kind of an odd one. But like I said, it's 2-1 with like halfway through the third. The Blue Jackets are still in this. And then Taylor Hall scores, Thomas Nosek scores, 19 seconds apart to make it 4-1. And that's kind of been the story of the season for the Blue Jackets. They've been right there in the game, right up until they haven't. Patrik Laine makes it 4-2 with about 5 minutes left. Again, on the power play. Great to see Marcus Bjork get an assist there. Again, he's been that power play quarterback. He had 5.5 minutes of power play time last night. That's, again, he and Gavrikov were the only defensemen to see power play time. Erica Branson got 1 second of power play time, which is very funny to me. I assume that's because it was there was a shift change right at the end of power play or whatever. But yeah, 5.5 minutes of power play time for Marcus Bjork. Really good to see him get rewarded. Good to see Patrik Laine back on the score sheet. That's his 9th goal in, I think, 16 or 17 games this season. So, again, over a full 82 games, he's scoring at about a 40-goal pace, which is great and fun, and you love to see it. But just not enough. The Bruins are the best team in the league. They are. And that's what we saw in this game, honestly. It was very much not a case of the Blue Jackets being bad. It was just that the Bruins were better by a significant amount. It is what it is. I'm not mad about this loss necessarily. I think there were things that the Blue Jackets could have done better, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But this kind of similar to the Tampa Bay game coming into it, I was like, okay, listen, they're playing a really good team. They're not playing very good hockey at the minute. These two things will probably coincide to hand them a loss. And would it have been nice to beat the Bruins? Sure. I'm not mad about like a bad 20 seconds and 2 power play goals against the best team in the league. I'm just not. Like, that's the third best power play in the league. We're going to talk about special teams in a minute. But first, I've got to tell you all about one of our sponsors, which is something that I use literally every day. And that is Athletic Greens. I started using AG1 because, I just turned 30, and unfortunately, your health starts to go downhill around then. So I wanted something that made me feel better in the morning, made me feel like I could eat the things that I wanted to eat without, suffering. And that's what AG1 does. It's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced superfoods, adaptogens, vitamins, everything good for your body. And it helps you start your day right. Supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, just all of the things that you need to do better or to be better in your life. AG1 can help with that. Right now, it's your time to reclaim health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. It is just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That is it. There's no need for a million different pills and supplements, which is something else I love. I hate taking a million different vitamins. It's all in one with AG1. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So let's talk. Well, let's start by talking special teams, because unfortunately, the Bruins have a very good power play. The Blue Jackets actually only took 4 minor penalties in that game. Unfortunately, the Bruins scored on 2 of them, which is I'm not a math guy. That is 50%. Kind of the same story on the other side though. Boston took 6 minors, and okay. In fairness, some of those were offsetting. So the Bruins actually took 5 minor penalties. The Blue Jackets scored on 2 of them. The Blue Jackets gave them 3 power plays, and they scored on 2 of them. So 2 out of 5 is not bad. That is a 40% success rate. However, 2 out of 3 is better. That is a 66% success rate. That is about what I expect from, again, the best team in the league, 3rd-ranked power play. Blue Jackets penalty kill has been struggling for, well, it's been struggling, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. I don't know where they're at in the league right now, but I assume near the bottom. The Bruins probably jumped a spot, honestly. Maybe jumped 2 with that game. 2 power play goals on 3 attempts is, even against a team like that, I don't think is good enough. And again, I keep saying that I'm not mad about this loss. I'm frustrated and I am disappointed. Which I think is, I did just like I had just listened to that back in my head and realized I was doing the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed thing. Which honestly, I'm sorry to the Blue Jackets. I didn't mean it like that, I promise. No, they are still 3rd in the league on the power play, 1st on the penalty kill, interestingly, which I think does make it pretty impressive that the Blue Jackets did do that. But the Blue Jackets are 18th on the kill, which is honestly not as bad as I thought, but the 18th ranked penalty kill versus the 3rd ranked power play, it is what it is. It's not great, but it could be worse. And on the flip side, the Bruins allowed 2 power play goals against, I believe, the 29th ranked, tied for 29, yeah. Tied for 29th in the league with the Flyers, the only teams with worse Power plays are the Predators, which I wasn't expecting, and the Montreal Canadiens. So, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. But great to see the power play doing things. Not so great to see the penalty kill doing bad things. And that's honestly, I keep coming back to this. Like, not a lot in that game surprised me beyond the success of the power play. The Blue Jackets have gone back to playing Cole Sillinger like 8.5 minutes a night for some reason. He's not getting power play time. He was the only center that was above 50% on faceoffs, apart from Kent Johnson, who was apparently 100%, which I assume means he took like one, maybe two faceoffs. I don't know where to find those stats, but Cole Sillinger was 50% on faceoffs. Corrali was 38. Jenner was 31. Jack Roslovic was 12% on faceoffs. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what are we doing here? It's frustrating, and I know that Roslovic had a really good game against LA. He seems to have followed that up with 3 very average games. And so, the annual Jack Roslovic hot streak apparently lasted for 1 whole game. And it's frustrating to see Patrik Laine have, 5 shots on goal, 20.5 minutes ice time. Patrik Laine had a goal and an assist. He had a 2-point game, so, pretty good. Well, very good, considering the Blue Jackets only scored 2 goals and he was involved in both of them. At what point do we accept that Jack Roslovic is not a top 6 center? Probably never, frankly, because Brad Larson has shown that he doesn't trust Cole Sillinger in basically any situation. So he's not going to get that second line center spot. And then the other centers that they have, Sean Corrali is on the 4th line. That's where he should be. Do you put Johnson up there? And do you do like Johnson, Chinakhov, line 8, maybe? But then, you risk breaking up that Sillinger, Marchenko, Johnson line, which was, again, I liked a lot, despite the fact that, again, Cole Sillinger got the least ice time of anyone on the team, and I'm going to assume of anyone on the ice. Yep. Yeah. It's fine. I feel I'm very annoyed about it, but I accept the things you cannot change, etc., etc., etc. Ken Johnson's ice time continues to go up. He got 15.5 minutes. He got 4 minutes on the power play. So clearly he's done something to prove to Brad Larson that he can be trusted in these situations. Marchenko getting about 11 minutes. I'd like to see more from him. But again, he got 2.5 minutes on the power play. So his ice time is going up. It's just, I don't know. How do you solve this Cole Sillinger problem? Honestly, like, it's so frustrating to watch because it's clearly a vicious cycle of his confidence is probably tanked, so he's not playing super well. Or I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna pull up the natural stat trick and see. No one really had a good game possession wise because the Bruins, But if you look at the game as a whole, typically some players surprise you and have pretty good games. The Blue Jackets in all situations had 60 shot attempts for, 72 against. So honestly, a little bit more even than I thought it would be. And then if you go on ice, in terms of possession, Cole Sillinger did not have a very good game. That Sillinger, Marchenko, Johnson line didn't have a very good game at all, actually. Tim Burney struggled in that game. The best that the Blue Jackets could do this game in terms of possession was Matthew Olivier, who had 11 and 11 in terms of shot attempts for and against, and also Patrik Laine, who had 11 shot attempts for and 11 against. Everyone else was a negative possession team, so no one had a good game. Some people had worse games than others, but I was not I was not expecting Matthew Olivier to lead the team in possession. It's fine. But to go back to my point about Cole Sillinger, it's a vicious cycle. You lose confidence, you lose your ice time. How do you build that back up? Because the less ice time you get, the less chance you have to break out of that slump, the less chance you have to show someone, for example, the head coach, that you know what you're doing and that you can do this and you can play in this league, and it's just going round and round and round of Brad Larson clearly not liking what he's seeing from Cole Sillinger, and so not playing him. But how does he know that he doesn't like what he's seeing if he's not playing him? Like you can't tell me that giving Cole Sillinger 8 minutes a night as a 19-year-old is the right thing to do. Like, and this is not a player that I think could benefit from going down to the AHL to build his confidence back up. Like, he has proved that he can be an NHL player. In his rookie season, he was fantastic. For whatever reason, he's not fitting in with the system right now, and that's annoying and frustrating to watch. So I don't know how you fix this Cole Sillinger problem beyond just let him play through it. Like, so many veterans get the benefit of the doubt for playing through issues. I don't know why young players don't get the same. I know why. It's because they haven't proved themselves yet. Blah blah blah. They need to learn how to play the right way and all this nonsense. It's probably the most peachy way to say it, but man, I don't know. It feels like you can see his development taking a step back, and that's bad for the team. That's bad for Sillinger, first of all. That's also bad for the team as a whole. So I don't know. At a certain point, they have to do something about Cole Sillinger. I just don't know what that thing is yet. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like whatever it is they do with him. So we'll see. We'll see. In a minute, we are going to look ahead to tonight's game, which is against the Dallas Stars and not the Detroit Red Wings, as I spent all day yesterday prepping about. So we're going to talk about the Blue Jackets versus the Stars, how the Stars season is going in just a minute here on Locked On Blue Jackets. So the Dallas Stars are playing very good hockey, which is extremely annoying to me, a person who hates the Dallas Stars. They're 18-8-6. They have a legitimate superstar in Jason Robertson, who has 5 goals in his last 5 games, 5 assists in his last 5 games. Excuse me, no goals in his last 5 games, which usually means that he's good to score at least 2 against the Blue Jackets. Goaltending is fantastic for them. Jake Ottinger, a real star in this league. 920 save percentage, 2 shutouts, 12-4-3 record. And they're getting acceptable goaltending from their backup as well. Scott Wedgwood, who's 6-4-3 with a 910 save percentage. So goaltending is fine with them. And again, it's one of those teams where every single metric is better than the Blue Jackets. Their power play is 9th in the league. Their penalty kill is 4th. So we should watch out for that tonight. Probably when the Blue Jackets inevitably do crime or draw penalties. 3rd in face-offs, 4th in goals for per game, 7th in goals against per game. Like, they're doing it all. Although excitingly, I have just noticed that the Blue Jackets are no longer 31st in the league in goal, no longer 32nd in the league in goals against per game. Actually, I assume the Ducks have taken over that stat for the Blue Jackets. Can I find that? No, I cannot. But very, very funny. Anaheim. That's the thing. And I was on Locked On NHL last night with Gil Martin. That'll be going up at lunchtime today. And we talked a little bit about how bad this team is. But excitingly, we are not the Anaheim Ducks. And so it could be worse, frankly. We're also not the Chicago Blackhawks, who are on a 7-game losing streak. The Blue Jackets are only on a 3-game losing streak. Will they break it tonight against the Dallas Stars? I don't know about that. The Stars are playing very good hockey. I feel like they typically play pretty well at Nationwide, which is, again, very frustrating to me, a person who hates the Dallas Stars, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I make some predictions, probably. I think it's going to be a 4-2 loss, again, to the Dallas, a win for the Dallas Stars, 4-2, but Johnny Gaudreau loves scoring at home, man. I think, and I feel like I've bet on either Johnny Gaudreau or Patrik Laine to open the scoring in basically every game so far this season. But in my defense, I feel like Johnny Gaudreau has opened the scoring like five times this season, 5 or 6 times. So that's my guess. That's my bet. Johnny Gaudreau opens the scoring, but the Blue Jackets inevitably lose, and everyone comes together to complain again, because that's the theme of this season. But that's all I've got for you today. Tomorrow, we're going to break down tonight's game. We're going to do the mailbag because I didn't get a chance to get to it because I decided to yell about Cole Sillinger instead. So if you have mailbag questions, you can comment on this video or any other video. You can at me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can at the podcast on Twitter, which is LO_Blue Jackets. You can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. You can direct message me at either of those two Twitter handles. However you want to send your questions in, it's fine with me. I've got a couple of really good ones that might turn into longer things. But if you have any burning questions about the Blue Jackets, about the NHL as a whole, about prospects, about the future, about what I'm going to have for lunch, I don't know. You can do all of that at the places I just told you. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day every day. Lost on Blue Jackets continues to be free and available on all podcast platforms. We're over on YouTube. You're never going to have to get behind a paywall for Locked on Blue Jackets. So that is our promise to you. And yeah, thank you for listening. Tune in tomorrow. Until then, make sure you stay locked on.